Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk to you about a game that I absolutely adore. It's a bit of a different change from my other videos because it's not on one of the normal platforms that I play games on, but a platform that I find myself playing games on more and more, not because of the better quality games or anything like that, just because it kind of suits a real world lifestyle at times a little bit more, and that is obviously mobile games. Now, I know a lot of people groan when they hear a mobile game because they think about those people that call themselves gamers or something like that when they're just mobile gamers. Obviously not getting into that, but like, I find that working full-time and, finding time to play real games, it sounds harsh, but like console games on my PlayStation or on my Xbox or on my Switch or my computer can sometimes be hard. And, whereas with a mobile game, I can have on my, lunch break at work, I can play a game for a little bit, or, traveling to and from work, I can play it, or, walking between classrooms, or that 5-minute break between classes, something like that. So mobile games quite often really, are really good to get that, brain break, or, reset in your busy work day. As well as, one thing I really like about mobile games is, quite often if my partner's watching a show on TV or something like that I'm not the biggest fan of, I can, still be with her and sit there, but I've got a mobile game playing on my phone, so, obviously I could do that on my Switch, or I can do that on my, DS or something like that, but, I find that the mobile game is, doesn't get her as grumpy. But also, I quite enjoy some mobile games. This one's called Legends of Runeterra, and I'll link the description in, the how to get it in the description. But it's basically a card game, mobile game, very similar to Hearthstone. I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering and physical cards when I was growing up, and then, obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon as well. And then, obviously, Hearthstone was really big for a while, and probably is still pretty big. But this one really caught my eye when it was recommended to me by another teacher, and it's based on League of Legends, which I'm also a massive fan of. And so I thought I'd kind of show people why I'm a massive fan of this game, and why I like this game, and why it breaks the mold for a lot of mobile games and stuff like that. Okay, so what is the game about, and how does it work, and why do I love it? So obviously it's a card game, so just very similar to Hearthstone or any of those card-style games where you make a deck of cards, and the cards have a mana cost that costs you to play them. They have attack and defense and card abilities. So very similar to anything like that. What the card abilities do and stuff like that, I'm not going to get into too much detail of in this video, and I'll explain why in a second. You can make decks, and then there are different ways to play the game. So, I'm going to show you the major ways to play the game. So, there's verse player, which is obviously, and verse AI, which are obviously verse, computers or verse other players. And within verse player, there is ranked and normal, obviously. So, normal is just doesn't affect your rank, and just no pressure to it. And then ranked is, you kind of rank up. I think I haven't played the game for that long, but I've really been enjoying it. I'm in gold, I think, so it goes iron, bronze, silver, gold, or something along those lines, and then from gold it goes gold, platinum, diamond, masters, basically. And there are 4 levels within each metal type, basically. So that's kind of the one way to play, and depending on whether you want to get into it really competitively, obviously you want to go ranked, and then more casually you can go normal. The other 3 major ways are Gauntlet, Slabs, and Expeditions. And then there are these things called Challenges. The reason I'm not going to explain how the cards work as an individual card too often is because when you first get the game, I really recommend you jump into these challenges. They're recommended for beginners, and they kind of show you how different mechanics of different cards work. And they go through different abilities that cards can potentially have on them, and they're really great. So, and every time they do a new type of card, like with an expansion or something like that, which are always free, well, they have been free so far. The game's free, so I don't know why they make you pay for an expansion. They always add a new one of these as well. So when they added the new recent cards, which were just rather recently, I can't find it, they added a new challenge for them as well, so that players could get to know how the abilities on the new cards worked, and so it was this one here. And then there's Gauntlet, which happens every weekend, and with Gauntlet, there are 3 types of gauntlets. There are Singleton, best of 3, and pick 3, ban 1, basically. And this is against other players, and it's like a, you're trying to get to 7 without losing. And if you get to 7 without losing, you get this thing called a Prime Glory, which can be used to give you a benefit if you want to enter one of the tournaments, which have some prize money and stuff like that involved. And they give you obviously some benefits in trying to qualify for the tournaments. But so they're a bit more like, if you want to get into it a lot more. But Singleton basically allows you to create. Singleton is where you have a deck that has more than 2 regions in it, and you have to only have 1 of every card type, and then the other 2 are where you pick 3 decks and you verse an opponent. In one version, you ban a deck, they ban a deck, and then you just pick from one of the other 2 decks, and the winner wins. And the other one is they ban a deck, you ban a deck, you play, and it's best of 3 basically. But I don't want to get into that kind of detail too much for Gauntlet, because as I said, Gauntlet is more for, you want to start really being competitive in the game. Expedition is a really great way, and I'll kind of go through that a bit, but that's where you kind of make a deck, and then you try and get to the end, and some big bonuses if you get to the end. And then Lab is, there are a bunch of different types, but the one that I mainly want to talk about is this one here, is, I'll kind of demonstrate that for you a little bit as well, but you like pick a hero, and you get given a deck, and then you can kind of unlock abilities as you go. But before I get into any of that for too much, those are like the major ways to play, and I'll kind of demonstrate a couple of them in a little bit. But I want to quickly talk about why I think the game's really great, and why I think it's like kind of breaks the mold a little bit. And that's because like a lot of games, I was really big into a lot of games like Heroes of the Galaxy, Summoners Wars, even Clash of Clans for a little bit. And the thing I find with a lot of games like that is they kind of hit a wall towards the end, because you kind of have to pay to become the best. And one of the things I love about Legends of Runeterra is that there is a store, obviously, but the only thing it's really good for is aesthetic stuff. Like, just like an actual League of Legends, there's no real in-game benefit from any of the things you can spend real money on. The way you earn, you don't start with all the cards, obviously there has to be some form of progressive tree, but there are 3 major ways to earn cards, okay? And that's what I'm going to quickly go through, because they're really awesome, and they're really not that hard. So every week, you get these weekly quests down here, and they are like Spend Meta in the Gauntlet or Expedition, play games in the Lab, and just play rounds. And they give you some weekly rewards, which are like these little card chests. And then you get, every day, you get a quest. And this quest gives you XP, and you can roll it a couple of times. And then on top of that, you get your daily PvP wins. So for player versus player, obviously, for those who don't know, bonus XP. And I think it goes 400, 200, 100, and then goes straight back down to its default 50 for a win. And what that XP does is it goes towards 2 places. One is this weekly Vaulter, which goes from 0 to, I imagine, quite high. I've never got past 15, I think. But like, and each time you get XP, it unlocks a new number of chests. And then at the end of the week, the chests increase in quality as well. Like, you open all those chests, and that gives you tons of cards. If you get to, I think, 10, you also get an expedition and a free hero card as well. So that's a great, and the other place it goes to is when you enter the game, you select a region. So I'm actually going to change region, and we're going to change to a fresh region so we can kind of see. Let's go, Iowa. You activate the region, and then your XP goes towards unlocking these capsules. And you'll see it tells you what's in each capsule. The basic contains 4 common and rare cards, and then the next one's a small amount of shards. rare wild card, and so on and so forth. And so it's actually not that hard. Like, I mean, like you can see, like the XP for the first one's 250, right? Like, so just doing that daily quest is gonna get me that first capsule and quite a bit towards the next one, which is 500, and then so on and so forth. It gets quite hard towards the end, but the bonuses get really good towards the end as well. But what I would recommend you do is you kind of go, I would aim for this first champion capsule and then just swap regions if you're first starting to play, because then you just quickly get a bunch of cards. But obviously also start with all the challenges, because that'll give you a pre-made deck. So let's talk about the cards for a little bit, and then we'll get into actually some playing. So, how the cards work, and the general makeup of cards. We're going to go into decks, and we're going to new deck. So there are regions. So there are 1, 2, 3, you know, this many regions where cards come from, and each deck can only contain, unless it's a Singleton deck, can only contain cards from 2 regions. Okay, so that's the first part. And the regions are obviously tied to the League of Legends lore kind of stuff, and they do generally have some. I mean, yeah, and they share some characteristics normally, but I mean that's just a bit of a. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't really matter. And then there are a bunch of types of cards, okay? So I'm going to show unowned, because obviously I'm not even close to owning all the cards. There's hero cards, or legendary cards, which have this gold, yellowy kind of symbol on them. And they're like, you're only allowed 6 hero cards in a deck, and they kind of like the deal breakers of most decks. They have really amazing abilities that unlock, and they pop off once they've a certain set of criteria made, and they're kind of how you help win the game. And there's a whole bunch of them, you know, just like to quickly go through one, for example, this is Fiora. I don't want to add it to my deck, I want to click the other way. And so her ability is, if she's killed 2 enemies, she unlocks to this. Her, like, upgraded version, as you can see, she increases her attack by 1 and her defense by 1. And then when she's unlocked, when I've killed 4 enemies, you just default win the game. That's one example, right? Or another example is this Callista here, who's if I've seen 3 allies die, they upgrade, and Callista becomes a 5/4. And each round, the first time I attack, I revive an attacking ethereal copy of the strongest dead ally. You know, that kind of stuff. They'll have different abilities anyway, and they're like the big ones. And then you have the other types of cards, which are, I'm going to scroll past all the heroes, which are your, so you have common, rare, and then, where I mean, it's common, uncommon, and rare, I think. But anyway, you have green, which is common, and then blue, which is uncommon, and then I'm going to find a purple eventually, surely. I could probably filter for rarity. Yeah, epic. Oh, we've even got their names there. Epic. It's common, rare, epic, and champion. So epic just here. They're the purple, and generally the purple cards, the epic cards, are just have really good abilities on them. That's why they're like not always the case, but tends to be that the common cards are the like have the you know, pretty average abilities on them, or pretty average stats, and then they get better as they go. But not always the case. I mean, as with any game, there are exceptions. And the way you build a deck is, obviously, if you own the card, you can just drag it in there. But if you want to buy a card, there are a couple of ways. Like, for example, let's say I want to make a Teemo deck with Teemo. I obviously don't own Teemo. Then you get these wild cards, which are basically just like a free unlock of that card. I can unlock 2 any legendary cards, 14 any epic cards, 21 rare, and 69 uncommon. And you can just spend one of these wild cards to auto-unlock it. Or you can buy them with these shards, and then the cost of shards. Now, what I would say is that you earn these from that weekly chest. You'll get a bunch of these from the weekly chest, plus you get a bunch of them from the region unlock, so that you can build your decks. And that's kind of like how the deck building works. I would say that if you want to build a deck, there is a lot of great resources online you can go to with some like example decks on them, so you can build a deck. But what I would say is this Frostbite one just here is a really good starting deck, because unless they change the cards you get at the start, which I doubt they have in the month or so since I've played, pardon me, you basically get this deck, and it's pretty easy, and it's actually still like quite competitive, and a lot of people even in gold and above will use it. It only has one hero, and that is Ashe, and then most of the cards are actually pretty cheap. Like there's a bunch of greens. I think the Reckoning is probably, and these two, and you only have one copy of each, are the only epics, I think. I mean, we can filter, but oh no, I can't filter the actual deck, but there aren't that many, like, yeah, epics. Oh, and him as well, yeah. But yeah, it's pretty easy to build, and you get a lot of the cards to start with, and so if you do want to just pick Fjorg as your first region as well, it'll help you get there. It's a pretty easy deck to build. I don't have the deck, but there's a Spider deck as well, which I'm actually probably going to build one day, and is another really easy deck to build pretty early on, because it's got pretty low, not a lot of epics in it, and not a lot of heroes either, so there's that. And Frostbite and the Spider deck are pretty easy to play. Like Fiora, Shen, and Go Fish, these two decks, I wouldn't recommend starters going with, because they're both quite difficult to use at times, and you'll lose a lot if you don't know how to use them effectively. Where Pirate Aggro is not a bad one to build either. It's not overly expensive to build. It does have two heroes in it though, Misfortune and Gangplank. But it's obviously not super expensive either. I mean, it has the Captain Farron in it again, but I actually think this... And then these little fish, but other than that, I don't think it has many epics in it either. Yeah, none. And tons of common cards, like lots of common cards. And it's pretty easy. There are three major types of decks. Control decks, rush or aggro decks. I call them rush because that's what they used to be called in Magic and stuff, and then like what they call mixed decks. So this is an example of a rush deck. So you'll see in the makeup of a rush deck, they really heavily focus on these lower cost cards, and they try to like kill your opponent really quickly. They can be really good and fun to play because your matches tend to end really quickly, because if you haven't beaten them by like turn 5 or so, you've probably lost the game. Or like, you know, if you're not close to dead by turn 5, you've probably lost the game. And you'll be killed pretty quickly off that, because as you can see, you have like nothing in this higher end really at all. So that's one kind of deck. Then you have Control. I don't have any great examples. Frostbite's kind of a control deck. And the major purpose of Frostbite and something like Endure is actually to counter those aggro decks and try and survive until you can get out your big card to win, your big cards to win. So Frostbite wins in a bit of a weird way. Frostbite kind of like defends the early damage, and when Ash pops off, which is a hero, you kind of win with her because people can't block if they've been frostbited. In Endure, the way you win is with this in particular card called They Who Endure, and it gains an extra attack power for each unit that's died that game, and so you kind of win that way if you don't just overpower them at the start, because you actually do have a fair early minions. And mixed is like this deck. It's not a lot of early game. In some ways, its kind of main goal is to survive an aggro deck and kill before a control deck, basically. And it has a lot of like spell power, a lot of spell power in it that controls. This deck's actually been nerfed pretty hard, so I haven't actually played it in a bit because it got nerfed with the latest patch. But that's kind of the general gist of the three decks types. So now we might go into a bit of detail on how the games work and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you two types of games. I'm going to show you Lab first. So one I haven't got, I've talked about the quests, and you can kind of see they give XP here. So play created card, 1,500 XP, right? And then you might think, well, I don't know what a created card means, and that's okay. But you can kind of go into the cards, look that kind of stuff up. But you might not have a deck that has that, right? And that's why I think Lab is so good. It's a great way to get... so I'm actually just going to retire this run. So it doesn't affect any of your standings, you don't use your own cards, and it's an amazing way to very quickly complete one of those quests, right? So this is play created cards. And so you can go in here and you can look at the heroes, and you can kind of see if any of them have that ability. Like, you can see here, Hammerberg, when you cast a spell Create, so it's creating a card, so you know that this deck here has Create card in them, and there's obviously a few others that have Create cards in them, but like that's the general idea. You can use these to complete one of your quests. And so I might quickly show you how lab works. I'm not going to do it on normal because I'm going to use the play credit card one.
Choice.
I'm going to try and do it on hard. I haven't done anything on hard yet. They only just added hard, so this will be fun. So you get a pre-built deck, as you can see, and then you start with this an option of picking a passive power. So this obviously works very different to a normal game. It's kind of like a fun little game mode, and like, you know, you can roll if you want to see the options, but I'm going to pick straight up rally. So rally means, and you can look at what the ability does by going. If you don't have one, gain the attack token this round, and you can select, okay? And then you can kind of do your play. So we go play. So this is versus the computer, not versus another player, which is also a great way to do it. And so the way each game starts of Legends of Runeterra, no matter what kind of mode you're in, is you get 4 cards at the start. You can choose to keep them or replace them, so you might want to replace them. And I tend to replace things that I can't play at the start, so that I have enough, you know. But also if it's a really great card, you might want to keep it. I don't know. It's not like, it really depends on the deck. So just like, yeah. Anyway, and then each player starts with 1 mana. And then one person goes first, and then you can draw an additional card. So I have the first attack token, but obviously I couldn't do it because I had nothing. And then they get the next attack token, we get the next turn, and we go up to 2 mana. Now I also have the ability, obviously, to give me the extra attack token this turn. And so you can see that I can, he costs 2 mana, so I can use my 2 mana to play him. But it's not like some games where, you know, if you can play as many things that cost 2 mana. Like, no, if you use the mana when you use it, right? You also have this thing called spell mana, which is you'll kind of see it in the challenges, but like it goes up 1 every turn, and you use it, it goes away and then goes back to the start and keeps on going up 1, but it keeps it. So if I don't use it now, I'm obviously not going to, right? It'll stay for the next turn. I won't lose it. See? And it goes up 1 every attack turn, I should say, I think. Something like that. Yeah. So he costs 2 mana, I lose 2 mana, I can cast him. And then I can, you know, I can do something like that. This is a spell. It deals 2 damage. There are 3 types of spells. Fast means you can play them at any time, even like if someone's attacking or something like that. Burst, which you can play on your turn or in the response to another turn, or if you're the attacker. You'll kind of see that in the challenges. Or slow, which you can only cast on your turn. You can't cast in response to attack. There's also focus now, which is like, yeah. Which is a weird one. You can only cast focus. I knew he was going to do that. He's using another spell. He's got a fast spell, so you can cast it at any time.
Where are you?
Like that. In a normal game, you start with 20 health, I would say that. Not in these ones, you have weird health. So this is a slow, so once I cast it, it'll end my turn. You can see, right? And I can only cast it on my turn. But he's got that, and I can cast my fast at any time and kill his spider. Every time he hits me without defense, he does damage to me.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the day.
So these are bursts, so I can't cast them at any time, but I can cast them like that. And then I can
check out the goods on this one.
And so he can set up, and he's going to cast a spell, a fast spell, right, and drain an enemy. It's a fast spell, so you can cast it at any time.
Excuse you.
Not doing very well on this hard difficulty. It's not over yet. Those are the fact that these things, as they say. So I'm gonna play. This is my first hero card. It costs 5 mana.
I have them.
You can see when you cast a spell, create a fleeting turret in your hand. It costs 0 this round. So if I cast a spell,
Oh, that's a harvest right there.
you'll cast a fleeting turret, and I can create that.
Just when I needed assistance.
And once you see 12 turrets to all enemies in your Nexus 3, so it's gonna
Save me, Luke.
brutal. Things aren't going very well for our hero in this lab. But hopefully this is giving you an idea of what it's like, so I can summon choose scraps. It gives me a turret.
A sturdy construction. Yeah.
So that costs 3. Added good damage to his Nexus. Created another turret.
And fire!
This one has toughness, you can see, and toughness. If you click on the ability, it always tells you it takes 1 less damage from all sources. This one has fearsome. If you click on the right click on the card, you can then hover over the ability. It can only be blocked by enemies with 3. Taking the damage, aren't I?
I got ways to find me mushrooms.
So what I'm going to do now is, this spell here, it's pretty good for the particular deck that I'm playing, because you'll see why. I'll show you why now. So I'm just going to keep on playing.
Just when I needed assistance.
So the amount of mana you spend depends on the power of the turret that I get. So I'm going to get
By just 1.21 gigahexes.
and then I'm going to do 4 damage to this unit here. So 4. So I'll get a 4 cost turret, see?
A machine for sports ball.
And I've got my unlocking my hero. And then these are all going to cleared his board of spiders, but it's not over yet. One of the things I would say about this game in particular is that you need to be careful of not having any cards in your hand, because I'm now really weak to just basically whatever he does. That's pretty good.
This is a no-fly zone.
And fire!
So 6 cost.
Where are your permits? Where are your standards? My most groundbreaking invention to date! Oh!
And that's me winning the first lab. So you can kind of see how it works. Obviously the easy ones are easier than that, and you tend to win the first one pretty easily. And then when you win, obviously I got stuff for those 2 quests. But you can see create cards. I got 13 of my 15 just straight up. Plus I got the match reward and the bonus PvP, which is going to auto unlock that first chest and that second chest. See what I mean? Like, it's just really not hard, and that's and then if you see, if I go into rewards now, sorry, yeah, when you're in your first match in lab, you then get to pick a second hero to go with you. So you might want to pick, you know, something that matches well. If you don't see anything matches well, you can roll. Their heroes really matter, so and then you can keep on going, and then these have abilities as well. So you'll see that if you click on that, it says when ally mysteries dies, create a copy in the deck. And this one had one where you got a free fleeting spider each turn, and they get harder and harder, basically. That's lab, and you can see that I got XP from that lab, and it gave me my first 2 chests, and you can open them up, and I'll get cards straight away. And you see extra copies turn into shards, so. There you go, another one. Like that. And obviously, as you get further on, the chests get better and better and better. So, to like platinum and stuff like that. So, diamond chest, that diamond chest, just there, that's the chest that I'm currently, you can see I've got 2 diamond chests and 1 platinum for my weekly vault from being level 12. And if you play quite, like, you know, just once or twice a day, you get close to that pretty quickly. Like, I don't play super often, and I get there. So that's pretty awesome. The next game type I'm going to show you is Expedition. Yeah. So Expedition works is another way that you can get, except Expedition costs resources to play, but if you win, you get really good rewards. If you go to level 10, you get a free token each week, and the week's actually about to end. So I've actually, they end Thursday night, so I've already spent my weekly token. But just for the purpose of this video, I am going to spend some of my shards to play. And so Expedition works, you normally pay once a week kind of thing. You get 2 trials, and you to get your reward, and it's you make a deck. Okay, so they give you like this. It's like pick one of the champions. So for example, we might want to pick I don't know. Let's go Brom. We'll go Brom here, right? Because Brom's a good card for beginners and quite a fun, kind of easy one to watch it. So you add him to your deck, and then you go through next, and you get another champion. And so we might pick. None of these really pair that well with Brom. I kind of that's a stitch up. I guess if Twisted Fate kind of pairs well with everyone, but I might go with this Zed as your second hero. And this is a lot of luck. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of luck involved in this particular deck style. So you kind of just have to, sometimes you just get really bad combos. I would say try not to split your deck too much into 2 different types, which is something that I accidentally did early on, and basically meant that you just don't have any synergy. You want to try and create a deck that has some form of synergy to it. Otherwise, you are going to struggle. And so you basically get these options to pick. You're just trying to make the best you can, do the best you can to make a decent deck, basically. I know a lot of the cards, so I'm making some attempt at an educated guess. I'm honestly really bad at this, so this is something that I really struggle with. I want that much. Okay, and then once you've made your deck, you begin your first trial. Your goal is to get to here, obviously, and then you get a nice reward. If you lose once, you get a second chance, and if you lose twice in a row, then you lose this attempt, and you get 2 attempts per token or purchase of the thing. So I'll show you kind of the first game. This is against other people, so it's just a normal match against another person, but that other person is also using an expedition deck, so they also don't have heaps and heaps of synergy. So it takes a little bit longer than Lab, so it's not as good for getting quests done, but I quite enjoy it. It's a bit of fun. It's a good way to get to know how to use a lot of the cards as well. So I recommend you do take advantage of this, because, like, you know, maybe you really like a particular play style, and you can kind of see how certain heroes work and stuff. So it really helps with you know, I have a prismatic set of it. I forgot. Yeah. So this is a normal match. So you can see that we start off with the 2020 this time, and you'll get to see how a normal match works a little bit. But I'll only Poe. Always try and make sure you get those hits. Don't ever be hesitant to attack if they've got nothing on the field. You cannot tell you how many games I've lost on 1 HP, 1 health. So
Be nothing left when I'm done.
The Yordle here's with me.
I am the blade in the darkness.
this could go really well for me.
Let's move.
It says vulnerable, so vulnerable means you can choose who it hits it. This is when you're dead. Creates an ethereal thing that's attacked.
Best run while you can.
So that's good. He's good. It's clever. Oh, super unlucky for me.
Darkness.
Is what it is though. That's super unlucky for me. We managed to hit the perfect things every time. Super unlucky. Oh well. Is what it is.
Fuse is lit!
His deck is similar to the deck that I play. It's all about, you know, getting these scouting pegs to increase your spell damage. Because that's gonna yeah. Clever.
Victory at any cost!
Very clever.
Run while you can.
Getting rid of my invisible guy.
Master your demons.
In the War Mother's name.
So he's almost popped off his guy now. So could be problematic. And he has this so he can stop me from
Sacrifices must be made.
So now he's got them off.
Such little lives.
It's handy spell.
Leave them nothing.
The danger in doing that is that he'll potentially just stun it straight away. He stuns the strongest.
I will break them.
I think he does it every time, doesn't he?
Merely
I've misread the bridge
again.
again. Yeah. Oh well. I didn't realise he does it every time. That's pretty OP.
We swim within the flows of magic.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
Master Sid will be pleased.
Time to get rich.
Don't let my size fool you! Worthy of the Winter's Claw!
Shadows. Destiny awaits. You're in over your head.
I've proved myself to the War Mother!
He's running out of magic power. I'm hoping he's out of damage
What's
spells
that
in
you
his
got
inventory.
there?
It's kind of my hope. Not pretty. Deal damage to all battling enemies. Wonder what. To kill his enemy. That actually worked quite well for me. I might come through this with a win. I might. He's only got 2 guards in his hand. What are they? No, surrendered. So that's obviously that's our expedition. Which is kind of cool. And then you'll see, did I play any creative cards then? I didn't. Obviously more mana towards these two here, and I played one creative card apparently. You can see we're really smashing through this pretty quickly with it. And then you go to the next round, I get to pick another champion to add to the deck, which probably gonna pick another Brom. And then you keep on going. I think you get on 3 you get another champion option as well. And then these like swap cards and stuff like that. So that's that one. And the last one I'm going to show you obviously is just a normal match. And then I think that's about it really from me from the video. I mean, I'll might show you, but this is going to be a rare wild card. So this is a great way to get your wild cards. So obviously that means I can now buy any rare card from any deck anywhere. Obviously there's like an epic wild card here inside this if you keep on going up. You get a wild card capsule, another epic wild card, and then the champion wild card as you keep on going along. Just something to think about. So obviously the last one to see is this one here. And I'm actually going to do a non-ranked one. I've not played this deck before, so it's a good opportunity for me to try a new deck type. And you can kind of see why I like the game. It doesn't take too long to play a game, like, you know, not long at all, and you can kind of just smash them out. It's really fun and enjoyable, and a lot of strategy involved in thinking, and plus, like, they're the heroes you know and love from League of Legends. So, you know, and there's tons of options and versatility. Like, it's not like some card games where everyone's playing the same decks. There are a lot of different builds and stuff like that, which is pretty awesome. Let's see how we go with this weird Azir burn deck I'm trying. Yeah. There's lots of good online resources, like, telling you how, with, like, you know, videos of how to play certain decks, as well as, like, what decks to build and stuff like that. When you first get in, I recommend you just have a go at, doing all those challenges, so you get to know how the cards work. Oh, what are the chances? I'm versing another Azir burn deck. Oh, okay, let's give it a go. Oh, look. Okay. Well, now I wish that was a ranked game. Oh, no. We've got another real one. That was worth nothing. Still got my free XP though. Let's try again. That doesn't happen. I've never seen that happen before. Failed to connect, actually. I wish I got some more failed connected in my ranked attempt at ranking up, but. Oh, here we go. So, we've got, obviously, we can see their heroes as well, give you an idea of what we're versing. Thresh can be really annoying, so... Sometimes it is worth replacing him as well, but we'll see. I don't even know how this deck works, really, so we'll really see how it goes. Oh. Could have played him, but I didn't want to risk him getting killed with spell power.
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
Sand and blood!
Yeah, so, pretty good start for me. I cast a spell that obviously increases attack power. Incredible ability. That, like, literally couldn't have gone better for me. So what I can't find is, with something like this, is sometimes it's better to wait before you play.
Echo through the ages.
Yeah. You get 6 damage on me here because I'm not going to bother blocking. Oh, I could block with 1. No, I'm not going to though. It'll take the damage. These are really annoying when they die and when you attack with the feudal enemy now. They respawn and attack with him. It's one of my main decks that I play is with them, so. Having said that, I just got
My name echoes through every rock, every canyon.
These dunes are the lifeblood of Shurima.
Blaze forward! Remember this day!
Scatter.
That's too perfect.
In Sharima's name.
He could potentially do a lot of damage next turn though, so we'll see. Helper.
Your Emperor commands. Tell the people what you have seen today. To me! Arise! No one lives.
So, I'm gonna block 3.
Faithless creature.
So that's 2 damage. Oh, no. This could be a bad move. This could cost me my Zia. We'll see. That's 2, 4, 6. Oh no. We'll see how this goes.
To the street! Show them the might of our army!
Shows of power excite the people and quell our enemies.
Let's see how this goes.
Destiny calls! The order is given! Arise!
Crumble.
I think that's me winning. I don't think he can block everything.
Accept your fate.
Let's use a spell to summon something. Oh, no way. Okay, that's good. That's me lost
In
now.
Sharima's name. Shurima!
That's me lost. Unlucky. Because that'll summon like a bunch of stuff, you'll see. Anyway, that's kind of an idea of how it works. Yeah, I mean, this is a deck I don't really know what play. It's meant to be a deck that works really well if you can get it to work. But if you can't get it to work, you lose a lot. So I was just tempted to test it out. So that's kind of how a normal game works. You can see I've got the created cards. So got a boosted XP bonus. Knocked out a bunch of those decks for me, completing the quest. And yeah, so I mean, as I said, that's kind of like the general gist of the game. If you have any more things you want to learn about in the game, let me know so that I can kind of make a video on them. You get to see a wild card capsule as well. So you see, it gives me a bunch of rare and common wild cards. You know, if you want me to see, and a silk chest. If you want to see me make a deck or something like that, let me know or something like that. But yeah, that's basically the game. I really enjoy playing it. It's really fun and really rewarding, even for like, you know, not playing or anything like that. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video and hope you enjoy the game. And I'll talk to you on my next video.